Hello, welcome back. The Chaotic Corpse Season 4. I am your host, Jordan.
I am your co-host Apollo, and we are joined by two guests. One of them you may know from a few past videos and a few past podcasts. It's Chris. Chris
Yep,
Man. Chris
that's
Man
me.
52-8.
52.
52.
For some
It's
reason,
52-8 on
52.
Discord for whatever reason.
For some reason, no. It's because when I tried to make my Discord, C-Man Rule 52 was taken
That's
already.
weird. Wait,
So I
what?
had
Wow.
to add an 8.
That's weird.
That's so random.
That is random.
Yeah,
I
I
didn't think
know.
you had assigned names. Anyways, we have another guest. He's been on this whole Season 4 ride so far. It's Scott.
Glad to be back.
Glad to have you back, Scott.
Thank you. Glad to be back.
Today, we are reviewing Episode 3 of Loki. This episode was a bit different from the other two, in my opinion at least.
We didn't have Lightning McQueen telling
we didn't
Loki
have any
what to
Lightning
do.
McQueen in this episode.
Yeah.
Oh,
Which was a shame, but we did see him in
Yeah.
the previous.
You got him in like the little recap, but
Yeah, he's technically not in this episode.
Yeah,
Technically. No.
I'm glad that we saw more of Lady
Sylvie?
Loki. Sylvie. Now, I think we can officially call her Sylvie in this episode.
Yeah.
I've seen tweets and Instagram things all over Google about in the end credits that you would see pretty much from every episode now. Even in Falcon and Winter Soldier, you would see these little like subliminal messages. Just different like pictures and whatnot. You actually saw Sylvie Laufeyson. Yeah, you would see Sylvie Laufeyson. And I think I sent it to you guys.
personally, I did not watch. Like, I just stopped at when the credits started. I didn't look any further than that, so...
That's okay. Most people don't. Most people
Yeah.
don't. You're
Which I should know. Marvel being Marvel, that
Oh,
I
yeah.
should, but
they
I
always
need to-
hide stuff in there. They're cheeky.
Yeah.
Like that. But anyways, I think we can officially
If you
call
look
her.
close enough, you could probably like see Thanos in the Iron Man 2 credits if you squint hard enough.
You can see
Probably.
Stan Lee in the freaking credits if you squint hard enough.
Just he's shaking hands with Thanos, be like, "Yeah, you're about to rock this entire place."
Speaking of which, I think in episode 2 or episode 1, when he was going to court, everyone was like saying that on the mural, where you would see like the people wearing the robes in the first mural when Loki walked into the courtroom, you saw some guy with gray hair and glasses. Everyone was saying that was Stan Lee. And I was like, that kind of looks like Stan Lee, but I feel like if they were going to put Stan Lee in the show at all, they would make it more like predominant. They wouldn't just
Yeah.
sneak it in there.
Yeah.
They would definitely make it like, even if it is just a painting, they would definitely make it like a bigger painting or
Oh,
something.
yeah.
Like that.
Like
I just-
employee of the
well,
month
he
or
wasn't
something.
that one painting.
What painting?
Which
He
one?
wasn't. He wasn't that one like mural.
I feel like if they were to do something like that, they would make it more predominant. Like, oh, that's definitely Stan Lee. Like I'm sure people are just saying like, oh, that must be Stan Lee, or they're making it seem like it is Stan Lee when it could not really be Stan Lee. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
I don't know if I'm making myself as clear.
No, yeah, I know what you mean. I know what you
Yeah.
mean.
I mean, definitely like a younger version because he also didn't have like white hair.
Oh yeah, dude, I'd have to show you guys because there's a thing on Reddit showing Stan Lee when he was younger, and it does not look like him at all, but it sounds just like him. It's crazy. It was him in like the '60s or something, so it was insane. Anyways, so we got to see more of her in this episode, which was pretty cool. I really appreciated that, and a lot of people are saying that it's either Enchantress or it's, and I had to talk with my other Marvel friend. It's either Enchantress or it's Lady Loki, and me and him came to a theory that maybe it's a bit of both, because there is. If you remember in episode 1, they showed all these, or the episode 2, they showed all these different versions of Loki, like buff Loki, like surfer dude Loki, if you remember, and like druid Loki, it looked like. So this one would be female Loki or Lady Loki in the comics. So people were saying that, it was Enchantress, and I wasn't feeling that. I don't know if you guys have heard the same thing, but we were thinking that maybe. In the comics, Lady Loki actually gives her powers to this random chick. I don't know if it's just literally some random chick or not, or if she has some significance, but she gives her powers to some random woman, and literally tells her to use her
Random
powers.
person.
Yeah, it's literally some random lady, and tells her to use her powers for chaos against the Young Avengers, creating Enchantress. So in the comics, I don't know if it was like an off series or if it was like one of the main series, but Lady Loki technically created Enchantress. So
I feel like it's definitely just a female. It's probably Lady Loki, like you said, just kind of a female version of Loki. Because I mean, in the scene where they were talking about Frigga and all that,
right,
they're very faint, but she said she has memories of Frigga. So, or am I saying that right? No.
I think it's Frigga. I think that's
Frigga.
how you pronounce it.
Yeah.
It's not
She
Frigga.
very obviously has memories of her.
Right.
So I do think it is just a female version, or I guess you could just say variant, because that's, the word. A female variant of Loki.
Yeah, because it is different, like timelines, different, I guess you could say, alternate realities
Right.
of that one character. Hence the different and multiple time or Infinity Stones. How there are just multiple of the same kind of stone in Casey's drawer. Like,
Yeah.
I don't
There's
know.
just, like, I do find it interesting how all the reality stones were in stone form, and none of them were like in
liquid
ether form.
Oh yeah, exactly. That was weird too. Like maybe they actually like took them from someone that got their hands on it instead of Jane Foster.
It's true. I feel like probably I feel like maybe with the when the Avengers went back in time and everything like that, I feel like there's probably branch realities that went off of that event that were supposed to happen, and maybe
definitely.
that's where they got them.
Definitely.
Like probably there's several branch variants from where Rocket steals the stone using that device, and they just took that device, and then for whatever reason the ether stayed in stone form.
Right. What was I gonna say? Yeah, I did like that scene where they were kind of reminiscing, I guess, about their mother, because Loki.
Oh, that was a sweet thing.
That was a sweet scene. Loki
Yeah.
did have a good connection with his mother.
Oh
Not
yeah,
that we saw.
their bond
Mhm.
was very. I mean, even you don't get to see it much, but when you do see it, it is highly apparent. It was very apparent in Dark
yeah.
World.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
And then he shows it like when I remember in episode 1 when he goes back to that room that he was being held in, and he looked at the hollow projector, I guess.
Yeah.
And he was like looking at.
I mean,
his
think
mother
about
dead.
that. You think about that same episode, like, where when that scene happens, he just goes, "Where is she? You're holding her. So where is she?"
Right.
You can very clearly see the panic and the
Mhm.
worry, and you know that he truly loved her, which is
Yeah.
very.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like how in the first 2 episodes we saw like Loki tear up a good couple times, and then in this episode we actually just see Loki having a good time on the freaking train going to the spaceship.
Oh yeah,
He's like
I love
he's
that.
singing in Asgardian, and I guess it's a confirmation that Asgardian has its own language. I didn't know that it had its own language.
I mean,
just knew that they
you
were-
kind of figure.
I figured that they.
I mean,
might have,
obviously
but we
everyone
didn't
just
see
speaks
anything.
English for convenience sake
Right, of course.
in the movie. But yeah, I mean, you would kind of figure that Asgard, being a separate realm and everything, would have its own language.
I don't know.
Yeah, imagine watching like Thor instead of them all speaking English. they
Imagine,
speak Guardian
watching
with no,
Thor
with no
in just
subtitles.
straight Asgardian. Oh,
And Thor comes down to Earth, crashes down there, and he starts speaking Asgardian.
Oh, no.
What would Thor be like if he couldn't communicate with them and he just started speaking gibberish to him?
Dude, he'd probably like
they'd,
kill everybody.
they'd probably just call Border Patrol or something.
Oh
Yeah,
no, you can't say that.
No, I mean
It's true.
I feel like that would
Because wasn't
That's
I mean,
true. That's
wasn't
not.
the events of the first Thor, weren't they in like New Mexico or
They
Texas?
were in New Mexico.
They
yeah.
were actually, yeah.
Exactly. You're right
Yeah,
there.
that's
That's
I
probably the
don't.
most logical solution they're going to come up with.
Yeah,
You're
yeah.
probably right.
I'm gonna be
Um,
honest with you. That's
yeah.
yeah.
Did anyone get a
Chris
vibe?
is right.
Did anyone get a vibe when Sylvia fell asleep and Loki she woke up to Loki just singing an Asgardian and having a party with like all the people on that train? And
I got a vibe because that would literally be me.
he was
Yeah.
I got a weird vibe because I feel like, you know, she's got to speak Asgardian too and understand
Yeah,
it. So like I feel like
he was that one very slow melodic
he
part
was saying something
that was
to
in
her.
pure Asgard. He was saying something to her. Obviously, we don't know what, because I mean, I have subtitles on. Nothing
It didn't
nothing
translate,
popped up.
so-
The translation didn't pop up.
Right.
So he was very obviously directing that at her.
And she was kind of giving him a look
Mhm.
too, as like
yeah, she
was
knew.
understanding,
She
yeah.
understood. I just, we don't know what he was saying.
Yeah, maybe we'll find out next episode, hopefully.
Maybe.
Could be.
You know what my favorite part of this episode so far is? When they were walking towards the shuttle, like in like the desert area, after they got kicked off the shuttle from a fight with the guards and all, they actually like threw them off. And he broke.
After the bar scene, when they actually fell off the train.
Yeah. They were walking towards the shuttle and they were talking, and he was like, you know, you didn't really tell me about how you did your enchanting, how she kind of takes over people's minds, basically like a
Right.
Wanda. She built like a Wanda, a Scarlet Witch. She tells him how he does it, or how she does it, and she said something that was off-putting. She had to pull memories from not their past lives, but like
the past time. Yeah, when they went, and then she went on about, everyone at the TVA was a variant at some point.
Yeah,
That blew my mind.
I know.
Dude.
That was crazy.
I was like that. I was like, that makes sense. That makes
does.
perfect sense.
He was like, you mean that? He was like, I'm told that the timekeepers created everybody at the TVA as if they were actually God, and then she was like, no, that's ridiculous. And I'm like, how is that ridiculous?
I always thought something was fishy about that.
I got a little bit of a weird vibe
It's
too,
just,
but
it's just a little bit unbelievable that, they would create every single person like that. But the thing is, if so, how does, obviously then Mobius obviously had a past life as a variant. So how did they erase the memory of that previous life and put in all that, basically just put in all that propaganda for the TVA?
Remember the Mind Stone that Loki used in episode 1, or in the first Avengers? I feel like it would be kind of like that. Because remember when Clint came back after Natasha hit him in the head really hard? He said, "Do you ever feel like someone just plays with your mind, takes you out, and stuffs something else in?" Maybe that's technically
Something
what
similar.
they did. Something similar, not exactly, because they're still themselves. They
That's
just don't
fair.
have past memories from.
Are they themselves though?
That's true. That could
Disagree with
also be
that,
something.
though. I disagree with that because I want to break that theory because the girl that I'm gonna call her Lady Loki was interrogating,
In
she
the-
had
in the
past
first scene.
memories. Yeah, she had past memories. So
I feel like
I
they're
think
just maybe
they do have-
repressed then.
They're definitely
yes,
repressed.
I would agree with you, Chris. I would definitely agree with you, Chris.
Yeah.
That they were repressed and that Lady Loki's just pulling them out.
She's reaching pretty far.
Yeah.
The fact that
Not to
she
sound
knows
weird at
this
all,
too.
but yeah.
I wonder how she found out about all this.
Don't know.
Well, she was running away from them her entire life.
Possibly,
I think
here's
she
a
could have
thought,
died on
is possibly when Mobius is talking to who's the judge that was sentencing.
I don't
Loki?
know her name, but I know.
We don't know
the
her
main
name,
female
But you know
lady,
who I'm talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I do.
When they were talking about bringing Loki on that field test or whatnot, you know, I believe she said something about, you know, like what happened the last time.
Oh yeah.
And so possibly I think that the Lady Loki, she might be, you know, they tried to recruit her like they are the Loki now. And, you know, then it just kind of spiraled out of control from there.
I was thinking,
And that's how she knows, is she has insider information, all that good stuff.
I was thinking that something like this, like a time loop theory, would happen. Just from watching episode 1, as soon as I heard that the variant that they were trying to catch, and he said, "Is you," and he was like, "Come again?" And, you know, once I heard that, I immediately thought that maybe there's some kind of time loop theory, but it's not exactly a time loop, because if something like this would have happened exactly the way that it happened, they would have been more prepared for it. You know what I mean? Like Loki getting out of his bonds and running around the TVA, all that stuff. I feel like they would have been more prepared for it, which in a sense they kind of were, because they really did like catch Loki as if he was nothing, you know, and he's the god of mischief. He's easily escaped the Avengers many times.
Obviously too, he doesn't have
powers.
Doesn't have his magic, so that's
right.
Yeah. The interesting thing I found about this episode was that, hold on, I'm thinking. I love that they actually went to another planet too. I thought that was really cool.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That was cool.
I love that setting.
I know y'all, I haven't read like comics or anything, Marvel comics. I know y'all do. I mean, has that setting ever been brought up, or is that just like completely new?
Okay, well, let me tell you, Chris, I don't know of this being exactly in comics. Like, everything that happened in Endgame wasn't in comics. It was kind of just their own thing.
Yeah.
And I was very proud of them for that. They did stick with comic stuff, but the premise of it was their own idea.
Yeah, completely separate MCU.
I'm just asking, their own idea.
I'm just asking if I can't even remember it now. Lamentus, whatever. Yeah.
Oh, if that world has ever been brought up before?
Has
I have
that
no
world
idea.
ever been seen in the comics?
I have no idea. I'd have to look that up.
Okay, that's fair enough. Just yes or no. I just wanted to know.
Scott could be our search him up man.
Yeah, there we go.
What's everyone's favorite part in the show so far?
I'd have to say the entire time they're on that planet, because I loved that. I thought that was really cool.
Yeah.
Because it's like a whole other setting that we've never seen them do before, which I really enjoyed.
Right.
Because like we're used to them being, oh, we're over here. We're never used to seeing a planet going into apocalyptic mode. Of course, this does remind me of the scene where Thanos throws the moon at the Avengers.
Oh yeah, I got that
world.
vibe too. Not gonna lie.
The
whole moon was cracking. I thought it was Earth.
I mean, and I honestly thought it would have something to do with the Power Stone, because of the whole thing being purple, but I guess it doesn't. It could, and just never.
Yeah, that's not a bad idea.
Because obviously, if they're stuck there now, then we'll find out.
Yeah.
But I guess it's in the future.
It's
so
in the
really,
future, so it depends on what timeline they went through. I guess.
If I'm assuming, I'm just assuming here that they are in, the sacred timeline, and everything in the MCU has happened. If everything in the MCU has happened, then there is no more Power Stone, because after Endgame, Steve returned all of the stones taken from other timelines, and then Thanos still destroyed the stones with the last, used the stones to destroy the stones. So if that's correct, then there is no more Power Stone. But
I think there's a need for that. There's if it's Earth 616 timeline, because Earth 616 is the main comic book timeline that they kind of use.
Yeah.
There's a
so
bunch of
I don't know what. Yeah, I don't know if Earth. I don't know if the MCU is Earth 616 or if it's a different Earth. I think it's a. I mean, if it's the main, if 616 is the main comics timeline, then obviously the MCU differs, a bit.
Oh no, it
At
definitely
least
does.
as far as
Yeah,
him.
it's
So I feel like probably it's a different Earth, but I don't know.
agree with you there.
it's just so far in time. What was Tristan? I haven't heard from you. What was your favorite part in the show and episode so far?
Oh, it would be. I have two things to say. Number one, my favorite part was the finding out that the people of the TVA were variants. That was pretty cool. But yeah, the other thing I have to say is maybe slightly controversial.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Okay, so there was a point.
He's trying not to get backlash.
I'm just no. If we get
Backlash, man.
backlash, so it's just to go further on what I said the last episode, where it was like, oh, Loki's thing is gender fluid, and all that,
Oh,
and
yeah,
how people
okay.
would get like
Go
pissed
ahead.
off about it. Okay,
Go ahead.
so there was a point in this episode with dialogue between Sylvie and Loki.
Oh, I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah, it kind of confirmed that Loki was like swinging both ways, like either bi or pan.
I mean, he's just horny.
Oh no.
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 Clearly he hasn't had a girlfriend
No.
in a while.
I mean,
so...
he literally says that's pretty much part of hedony too. He
Yeah.
literally says I'm hedonistic.
Can someone,
Yeah, I
mean,
can
that's-
someone let the viewers know
So-
what that word means?
Hedonistic?
How do you spell it?
Can someone, look up the definition for hedonist?
It basically just means you indulge like excessively in whatever makes you happy.
Yeah.
Basically, just you ignore like anything real world for you just do whatever makes you happy, no matter
Yeah.
the consequences.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah, that's basically what that is. But there was dialogue where Sylvie was like, "Oh, you're a prince. Wouldn't there be any would-be princesses, or even maybe a would-be prince?" And he was like, yeah, well, both." And it was just I just want to remind anyone from like saying, oh, they're turning people gay in the MCU and all that, because there's going to be people like that.
There's, I'm joking.
Yeah, I mean, we were both kind of had our opinions about Spider-Man,
Yeah.
but that's the thing.
That's already.
That's its own thing.
That's its own thing.
That's its own thing. But my
I mean, that's
opinion-
really just for the writers to decide if they want to put that in or not.
Yeah, if it's for the story, it's for the story. But I don't think they should be catering to.
Yeah.
No, don't, don't kid.
But when it comes to Loki, the original source material, this dude literally turned into a horse to sleep with a horse.
A male horse.
Oh,
Uh-oh.
yeah, I
A
hate
male
that.
horse.
Yeah, that
No.
was-
I'm just saying,
was-
if anyone's like getting pissed off about Loki being bisexual or pansexual or whatever it may be, it could. Just saying, like, the original source material calls for more than just that.
I think one of my
But-
friends was literally like, they saw that part and they came up to me and they were like, "Bro, did you hear that? Loki's gay or bisexual?" I'm like, "Yeah." And they're like, "Oh, they're finally catering to what the fans want." I'm like, "No, you idiot. He's like, in Norse mythology,
Ooh.
he
He's just-
turned himself
he-
into a horse."
I so badly want to go off on
And
this right
Loki-
now.
yeah.
Because
I think
have so
I
much
think
to
the
say about
correct
this.
term you're trying to go for here is just he is cripplingly horny.
Chris. And then I don't know. It was.
He's
funny.
not wrong in a certain
He's
way,
not- he's
but
not
at the same time, it's like they're not really changing the character
They're not changing the
to
character at all.
Part of
be
the
LGBT
hedony,
friendly.
really.
Yeah,
It's
Part of the
just
I don't know.
hedonism.
It was just kind of fun to burst their bubble. I'm like, yeah, he already kind of was
Yeah.
in the comics.
He just-
so.
He just wants to put it in something.
Oh, Chris.
It doesn't shock me that he's like
No,
this
it didn't
because-
surprise me a bit, but
I'm gonna be honest with you.
Honestly, though,
Go ahead, Scott.
honestly, if you want gender fluid, whatever, honestly, you can say that about any shapeshifter if you want to.
very true.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
True.
yeah.
Like
I mean, yeah,
Miss
exactly.
like Martian Manhunter, Mr. Fantastic, Plastic. You know,
Very
the list
true.
goes on.
That's very true.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be honest with you real quick. I was being a little dense because when he said that, when he said a bit of both, I thought he meant Thor. Like that he eventually.
Oh,
wanted-
why?
No.
This is-
Listen to
this
me.
is-
Listen
this
to me.
is-
Listen to me. It's
This
not
has
at
gone
all-
to a dangerous
No,
territory.
Shut up and listen to me. When he said that, I thought he meant Thor because I thought maybe he was thinking once all of this is over, he might get to go back to his timeline and see his brother again. Because I'm sure after watching those tapes of him, his death, his feud and relationship being rebuilt with Thor from those couple scenes in Ragnarok, that maybe he was feeling a little bit different. He wasn't that mischievous scamp as he said in episode 1. That maybe he was going to be able to bond with his brother, get back to his own timeline, and fix things how it should be. You know what I mean?
So,
does that make sense now?
So, there was a point in those visions where he saw Thor, quote unquote, die.
Yes. Yeah, where he
Yeah,
still
so-
thinks that Thor might be dead.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I guess he'll go to a point before the Dark World or whatever they faked his death.
Oh yeah, of course.
But yeah, there was a point that a lot of people on TikTok pointed out in episode 2 where it was like storming outside of
Yes,
that like
I saw that.
bootleg Walmart, and he was looking
Oh,
back, looking up to the sky, and he was trying to find Thor.
I know that.
In the
As I
storm.
looked at that kind of like crushed me. I was like, damn.
I was like, man, that's tough.
That was tough.
If I can say, like, what at least my favorite moment in the episode was.
Yeah, I was getting ready to ask you. I didn't hear from you.
Yeah, I'd say personally my favorite part in the episode was the talk about Frigga when they were both when Loki and Sylvie were both talking
Right.
about her, because I like seeing character development for Loki.
Oh, yeah.
You didn't, at least in the first Thor and then Ragnarok and Avengers, you didn't really get much. There was no character development really. A little bit starting in Dark World, but he was just a villain up to that point really. But then in Ragnarok they changed that, and you started to see a shift in him, and you started to see some character development. And then what happened at the start of Infinity War happened. So it's kind of nice to just see. I just like seeing more character development for Loki, honestly.
I never knew this. Of course, I have not seen any of the Thor movies. So Jordan, you can thrash.
Fair.
You can hate on me all day long. But I had no idea that Loki was such a good hand-to-hand combat.
Oh,
He's
yeah.
pretty good with hand-to-hand combat. I did not know that. I
pretty
thought he
good.
was just like
Yeah, he
magic
can
and-
be.
Oh.
He's more of like a bad chess player in most of the movies, but he is
Kind of.
pretty alright in hand to
I think
hand.
he's more of a strategist than he is at hand.
He is,
He's better.
but
at
let's
that
be honest
than-
here, he's lost a lot of times. He's like
Oh yeah,
Oh,
he
yeah.
definitely has.
he's like a guy who casually plays chess and is kind of good,
He
but
can
not quite
he
there.
can keep himself up, but
I mean,
It's like,
you think about the
yeah.
first Avengers when he caught Hawkeye's arrow and thought he won, and then it just blew up.
Exactly.
The scene
He
where like
doesn't-
Hulk just like picks him up and
Oh,
throws
yeah.
him around like a ragdoll. I love that. Dude,
My favorite part, like after Hulk was done, just smacking him into the ground, was just that pained, like, just that pained sigh. It's like, oh god.
real quick, did anyone catch that that reference from Thor 1 where he takes
Yeah,
I
a
did.
drink
I
and he
did-
throws
I
it on the
did-
ground?
I
He's
did
like,
that.
another. That was great.
Oh yes.
That was great. I love the little references that they kind of put. Like I'm pretty sure "Glorious Purpose" was the first thing that he said in Avengers, the first Avengers.
Yeah,
He was like,
it
I'm
was.
destined for
Ah,
glorious
yes.
purpose, and then he starts shooting up everybody.
Well, I
With
mean,
the
that was
scepter.
the title of the first episode.
he
Glorious
just
Purpose.
Yeah, that's true.
he just
that's
comes
true,
through the
but-
Tesseract with a bunch of mobsters.
What?
That's, when you said you said that he started shooting up everybody, and I was just imagining like a mob hit where like there was a bunch of people in like trench coats and fedoras, just
Oh,
I don't know. My mind, it's riddled with ADHD. It travels down these
We
holes that
know.
should not
Get 'em,
be.
fellas.
Yeah, that
Right
should
on,
not be
boys.
traveled down.
Oh man. Anyways,
That's a bit, though.
I want to
Hold
point.
on.
Go ahead, Scott, real quick.
I just want to say one thing real quick about the TVA. They are idiots. Like,
Are they
the
idiots?
fact
Oh,
that
yeah.
this happens and like they all rush it like, oh my gosh, there's so many variants to the timeline. We all must go immediately. And then like every single
Yeah.
person leaves,
I'm gonna be honest.
and
with you.
Lady
think-
Loki walks in almost unchallenged, and she could have easily gotten to the timekeepers if Loki hadn't stepped in.
I'm gonna be honest.
Easily.
Oh
with you,
yeah, no.
Scott.
If Loki didn't like catch up to her or anything, she would have easily just had it. She would have been.
Mhm.
It would have been done. But
Scott.
I mean, yeah, I think to piggyback on the incompetence of the TVA is the fact that like, I mean, they don't really state how long they've been dealing with Lady Loki, at least that variant.
Right.
But it kind of implied that it's been like probably a few years at least,
Probably.
and they just can't figure it out or whatnot. And then Loki comes in and figures it out after like a few hours.
He did say to catch a Loki, you're gonna need one. So he
That's
might
true.
have not exactly said
To
that
catch a
word
Loki,
for
you
word,
need one.
but I mean that's kind of implied.
It's very heavily implied.
I hate to break it to you, Scott, but when you see the sacred timeline start branching off, not one, but like several, like
I know.
alternate timelines,
I mean, there's
you're
probably at
gonna
least like
get
20,
like,
You need
20 of
like
those little
swamp ass and
charges.
gonna start sweating down your freaking forehead
I'm saying that, but I'm saying like
like
it
the
feels
Nile
like they should have
River
like a
going down your
special
forehead.
squad or something. Like get like more soldiers or something. Like you should have like these freaking time people should have like alpha
Talking about
like
the grand
plans.
army of the TVA.
no like plans like I can't
I mean,
remember
you
the
gotta
exact
think
word
they
for
probably
it.
have
Fail
like,
safes for like nuclear options. Like like what's a way we can
Well-
like turn off all these variants at once? Like what's a way like if someone breaks in, gets all the way to the timekeepers, what's like
They
they're
probably-
defending them.
They probably
I mean, you
since
gotta
the
think-
Great Time War, I think is what they said in the episode 1. They probably
Yeah.
haven't had something like this happen in like
Exactly.
eons. So
you
they
have.
probably never would have thought to
Yeah.
even prepare for something like this. You know what I mean?
I mean, you probably have like it's like really anything. There's obviously fail safes in place. There's probably fail safes in place that they have, but you gotta think, like you said, Jordan, with nothing like this happening since the Great Time War. It's just they're not practiced. They don't.
True.
You might have a
Mhm.
fail safe, but if they're not like running drills or something like that, then you're just not ready, and everyone's still scrambling, even though there is a protocol.
And it's
Everyone's
not like they
still
don't have
scrambling
time
to-
for it.
That's true. Oh, Scott.
Was that a time? God,
What's the time?
Anyways, on that note,
I'm saying that, but they have no excuse. You're right. They have no excuse.
on that note. So this episode was a good episode. Did we
oh
rate
wait,
the last
Jordan,
episode?
can I say one more thing?
We did rate the last
Go ahead,
episode.
real
We should
quick.
rate this one.
Go ahead, real quick.
Yeah. I just wanted to say I just absolutely loved the scene where Loki tried to like disguise as that one person's like dead spouse or whatnot.
Oh my gosh.
And then just gets blasted back.
He never
that
said
was a
anything
him
nice to
thing to
me in
do,
30
though.
years.
That was totally a
That's
him thing
great.
to do, though.
Oh, I love that. Oh, that was funny.
That was good. Everyone rate the episode real quick.
I would say 8 out of 10.
Yeah.
8 out of 10.
I would say that.
It was good, but it wasn't too great.
It was
know.
more. It was kind of, I guess, a filler episode, which I guess really.
They let it.
What is there? There's only gonna be like 6 episodes.
There's only 3 more left. Yeah, I hate to break it.
Yeah.
down.
Wow, this is
So,
a
I
short
mean-
series.
Wow.
Even with, I mean, that's pretty much sure. That's how like the Kenobi series is gonna be like 6
Don't-
episodes.
I'm gonna hit you now.
Yeah, but each one is going to be like an
Yeah, like
hour.
the hour
long.
long.
Yeah.
It's literally going to be longer than the original trilogy. Not the original trilogy, the
The
prequel trilogy.
Dude, that'd be insane. I'm excited.
Well,
I don't know if it's coming out, but whatever.
it's supposed to be coming out this year, but anyways, okay. So we all rated it. We all had a good time. Okay. So this was a good episode. Thanks for listening, everybody. Sometimes we do stream on Twitch. Sometimes we do stream on the YouTube. Tristan mainly does. You can follow me at twitch.tv/hotpocket61. You can follow Tristan at twitch.tv/ApolloYourKing. Scott, Chris, did you guys have anything to put in?
You can find me here on. Oh, go ahead, Chris. I'm sorry.
No, go ahead, Scott.
You can find me here on the Chaotic Corp YouTube channel. Shout out to all the boys. And you can find me on Instagram at s.simpson21.
Chris?
Yeah. You can find me on really just on Xbox at CManRule52, or here by the same username, CManRule52,
Except for
with an 8, yeah. And also, I want to say on the thread of Tristan streaming, I highly encourage stream sniping on Tristan. I have done it before.
I hate
it is
you.
great.
I hate you. I hate you so much.
It's funny. It's very
It's
funny.
not.
It
It's
is.
not.
May or may not
hate
leave
you.
that in. Anyways. Alright, thanks for listening, guys.
All right.
All right, see y'all.